Hi guys, it is Grace with Grace Gets Gastric, and I am here today for another recipe video. So meal prep Sunday. Today I am going to be showing you how I make my cinnamon beef stew, which is a favorite of mine. As always, I do have the original recipe linked in the description box below, and this one I don't modify too much. I stick pretty close to the recipe, but there are a couple of tweaks from what you'll see down there, and of course if you stick around I'll show you how I make it. This is a naturally low carb recipe. The only carbs in it are from yummy vegetables. And I actually discovered this recipe years ago when I was doing my first Whole30. So it is Whole30 paleo compliant, naturally low carb, high protein, higher in fat, and super high in deliciousness. So if you are interested in seeing how I make this cinnamon beef stew, then stick around.
Alright, so I am here today to show you how I make my cinnamon beef stew. So to start out, you're going to want 2 to 3 pounds of beef stew meat cut into 1-inch cubes. I just got this from Trader Joe's. It's pre-chopped stew meat, so it's all nice and ready to go. You're going to want salt and pepper, 3 tablespoons of coconut oil. You want a carrot, onion, and celery chopped finely. I just use this pre-done mirepoix mixture from Trader Joe's so that, again, it is all easy and ready to go. 2 cloves of minced garlic, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, half a cup of beef or chicken broth. Normally I would use beef broth, but I happen to have some chicken broth from a previous recipe already open, so I didn't want to have to open up a whole new thing. 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. You're going to want 3 to 5 cups of water, but that I don't have pictured because everyone has water. And then you will want 2 bay leaves, 2 cinnamon sticks, and then a sprig of fresh thyme and fresh sage and fresh rosemary, or a half teaspoon of those dried. In my case, I actually didn't have any rosemary dried or fresh, so I am just using dried thyme and sage. So to start off, you're going to take those 2 pounds of stew meat, 2 to 3 pounds, and season it with salt and pepper. And then while you're doing that, you want to be melting that coconut oil over medium-high heat. Get that all nice and melted before you add in your beef to sear. Now, you don't want to do what I do, and I added in one of the full packages. I meant to just add half, and I got too enthusiastic. You want to make sure that you are leaving plenty of room in there, so there's lots of air so that they can properly brown. So for this second batch that I put in, you'll note that it looks like it's less crowded in here, and that is because I only put in half a batch, and it lets you get that nice brown crust that will make everything extra delicious. So once you've taken out the beef, you want to put that beef in a separate container, and then toss in your garlic, your onions, your celery, your carrots, and you want to stir those for a couple of minutes until they get a little bit softened. And once they're a little bit softened, a little bit fragrant, you'll go ahead and add in the tomato paste. So that's the tomato paste here, tossing it in, and you want to give that another minute or two until it kind of gets thick and brown and goopy. Nice technical term there. Once you have done that, you're going to deglaze the pan with the broth and the balsamic vinegar, and then you'll just give that a really good stir, and you're scraping up all of those brown bits at the bottom of the pan right now. And then once you have done that, you'll go ahead and toss that meat that you set aside. All of that meat, you're going to toss that right back in, including any drippings that might have collected. Stir that up. And then you're going to add in all of the seasonings. So 2 teaspoons of salt, pepper, bay leaves, the thyme, sage, cinnamon sticks, rosemary if you have it. And then you're also going to add in 3 cups of water and stir that all up. And then you're going to go ahead and bring that to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, you're going to reduce it down to low heat. And you're going to put a lid over top of it with just a little bit of space so that it has time to breathe, or some time, so it has space to breathe. And then once you've got that partially covered and it's simmering, you're going to leave it, you're going to just set it and walk away for about 90 minutes. So you're going to have 90 minutes, you come back, and you're going to have your stew. So it's not a soupy stew, it is a little bit thicker, but if it does start to dry out, you can add more water, adding a half a cup at a time. I find for me 3 cups works perfect, but you are going to want to go ahead and simmer until the meat is really tender and the liquid in the pan has been reduced to kind of a gravy-like status. All right, and here you can see I have my beef stew all portioned out. Most of these are individual portions, and then I have that bigger one which has a couple of different servings in it right there. But for this recipe, for what I did, I got 9 5.5-ounce servings, and per serving it is 237 calories, 22.8 grams of protein, 13.3 grams of fat, 4.9 grams carbs, and 1.4 grams of fiber. So you can see it is a naturally high protein, low carb recipe. It is Whole30 compliant, paleo, keto friendly, and super, super delicious. I love making this in the fall when you want just something warm and cozy, but honestly, it's delicious all year round. Anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I will see you at my next recipe video. Bye!